Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, the Random Reviewer here. Today we're talking about a trimmer that looks suspiciously familiar, the Philips All-in-One Trimmer 5000 series. At first glance, you'd be forgiven for thinking this is the 7000 series multi-groomer in disguise, because honestly, they look almost identical. But there are a few differences hiding under the hood, and that's what we're digging into today. So what's actually different? Well, quite a bit, and some of it might be a deal breaker depending on how you use it. I'll go over what I like about it first, and then later in the video, I'll talk about a few of the negatives and real world complaints people have mentioned that you'll definitely want to hear before buying.
Build and design.
All right, let's start with what it's made of, because first impressions always matter. The 5000 looks and feels almost like the 7000. Same body shape, same type of plastic, even the same sound from the motor. If you held them both blindfolded, you'd probably have to peek just to tell which one's which. The main visual difference? That little rubber ring around the power button? Gone. It's there on the 7000, missing on the 5000. Not a big deal, but you'll notice it if you've used both. The body itself is plastic with a slightly rubberized back for grip, not metal despite its metal look. Still feels sturdy and light, which I actually prefer when traveling. What I love about this trimmer, and just like the 7000, is that it stands upright, which keeps the basin area neat and tidy. Also, it doesn't look cheap if you're a young man looking for love. Birds notice these things, you know. Moving on.
Battery and charging.
The Series 5000 uses a lithium-ion battery. Philips claims up to 120 minutes of use from a 1-hour charge, and from what I've experienced so far, that's believable. For normal use, that's probably a few weeks of grooming before you even think about charging. I mean, if you're trimming for 120 minutes straight, you're not grooming, you're landscaping. Charging is via USB-A, which I love. It means you can charge it with a power bank, your laptop, or a wall plug you already have. Some people say USB charging takes longer than direct wall charging, and that's true. But the trade-off is convenience. If you're camping, traveling, or just far from a socket, that USB option can be a lifesaver. Hopefully Philips keeps improving this, maybe adds fast charging or even USB-C in future models. Because honestly, these trimmers have become a bit repetitive over the years. Slight design tweaks, new colors, but nothing too groundbreaking unless you're jumping up into the very premium range that costs several hundreds of dollars.
Performance and attachments.
The motor feels just as powerful as the 7000s. The cutting action is smooth with those self-sharpening stainless steel blades Philips always brags about. And to be fair, they do stay sharp. You also get 10 attachments in the box, fewer than the 7000, which can go up to 18 or more depending on the region. But most of what matters is still here. Beard guards, hair clipper combs, and body grooming attachments. If you like niche add-ons like the foil shaver head, that's missing on the 5000. And honestly, based on what I said in my 7000 review, you're not missing much. That foil head was, let's just say, not Philips's finest moment. Another feature worth mentioning is what Philips calls beard sense technology. It supposedly scans your beard 125 times per second and boosts power when needed. Now, I can't exactly feel the 125 times per second happening, but it does handle thicker beard patches without choking, so I'll give them that. It gives a reasonable close shave, but not the best out of all the trimmers I've tested. The crown still belongs to the Philips Beard Trimmer Series 3000 with titanium blades. And for those who ask why I use a trimmer for shaving instead of a shaver, it's simple. Trimmers tend to be gentler. Electric shavers can cause irritation or ingrown hairs, while a good trimmer gives you a close, comfortable shave without all that drama. Next,
Waterproofing and maintenance.
it's 100% shower-proof, so you can rinse it off under the tap or use it in the shower. And there's no oiling required. The blades are self-maintaining. Honestly, this is one of those tools you can forget about for weeks. Pick it up, and it still works like day one.
Price and value.
The 5000 tends to be a little cheaper than the 7000. Depending on where you buy, you're looking at roughly 10 to 20% less. So if you're not fussed about the extra attachments or the rubber accent around the button, this might be the smarter buy.
Deal breakers. User experiences.
Hey, just so you know, everyone's got their own way of using a trimmer and their beards are all unique. Some folks with super thick or coarse beards say they had to go over the same spot a few extra times to get the perfect look. I totally get that. My beard isn't that long, so it could be true. But it might be a bit of a head scratcher since Philips Beard Sense technology says it's all about precision and power. Others mentioned that the power button placement can be a bit awkward. It sits right where your thumb rests, so a few people said they accidentally switched it off while trimming. Again, I haven't faced these issues myself as I mostly rest my thumb near the shaver head. But it's good for potential buyers to be aware. Everyone holds the trimmer differently, has a different beard type, or simply expects different things. Also, there were some thoughts on attachments. A few folks mentioned that the smaller combs could be a bit tricky to keep track of, and they were hoping Philips would include a proper storage pouch. I totally get that. Just a heads up, if you've got an old Philips trimmer with a bunch of attachments, chances are your old Philips combs will work on this one too. I've had this experience myself when I've been buying all these shavers and trimmers for you, so you might save a few bucks by getting a trimmer with fewer attachments. And hey, thanks for sticking around until here. That little bit of info could be super helpful if you're in that situation. A sub would be awesome too. Let's keep going. And since the shaver charges by USB-A, some users noted that it charges a bit slower than when using a dedicated power adapter. I mentioned this earlier, so we won't dig into it. Moving on.
Final thoughts.
Overall, the Philips All-in-One Trimmer 5000 series gives you a professional, reliable trim, strong battery life, and solid build quality, all at a lower price than the 7000. It's not a revolutionary upgrade, but it's dependable, versatile, and easy to travel with. For most people, that's exactly what you want. And if you're curious about how it stacks up directly against the 7000, and stay tuned. I'll be doing a proper side-by-side comparison soon. We're sitting at around 700 subscribers right now, and I just want to say thank you. Every view, every comment, every bit of feedback means a lot. Keep those questions coming, even the weird ones. They make these reviews more fun to do. I'm the random reviewer, and I'll see you in the next one.